In 2015, a woman named Carol in Dayton, Ohio, planted 11 perennials in one weekend. 10 were dead within 4 years. Not from a bad winter, not from anything she did wrong. She'd been sold the popular version of every plant instead of the version actually built to survive her yard. She only learned the truth years later, when a master gardener walked her bed and pointed at the one plant still standing, her grandmother's peony, and said, "That one's going to outlive both of us. The rest of these were never built to." I'll be straight with you. That story is playing out in your neighborhood right now. Garden centers stock what sells fast on a Saturday morning, not what survives your winters. So you keep replacing the same dead perennials every 3 or 4 years, and somewhere along the way you started believing that's just what gardening costs you. It isn't. There are 13 perennials that skip that entire cycle completely. Plant them once, in the right spot, at the right depth, and they don't just survive. They get bigger, fuller, and better every single year for the rest of your life. Number 1 is still blooming today in a garden planted before some of your grandparents were born. Number 6 is the single biggest money mistake almost every American gardener is making right now without knowing it. Trust me on this one. Stick around, because by the end of this list, you will never buy the popular version of a plant again. Hosta, sum, and substance. Every ordinary hosta turns into lace by August, slugs shredded overnight, and the whole plant looks defeated by Labor Day. This one doesn't, because the leaf tissue runs nearly double the thickness of a standard hosta. A slug physically cannot chew through it fast enough to matter. We're talking a genuine giant here. 3 feet across, 4 feet tall, built for a shaded, north-facing bed with dappled morning light. Give it room, because the plant in your 1-gallon pot this spring is nothing like the plant you'll have in 5 years. Water it through its first summer, and that's the last thing it will ever ask of you. Before you buy, run your finger across the leaf. Thin and floppy, put it back. Thick and almost rubbery, that's your plant. Daylily happy returns walk into any garden center in June and you'll find the same yellow daylily on every shelf, Stella d'Oro. It's been the default since the 1980s. Not because it's the best option, but because of how its patent worked out. One bench over sits happy returns, same height, a softer yellow, a more open bloom, and it reblooms non-stop from June to frost without you deadheading a single flower. Plant 3 together at the front of a sunny bed, water them the first season, then walk away. Most staff won't point you to it because shoppers don't ask for it by name, so be the shopper who does. And here's exactly why that matters. Knowing the right cultivar name before you walk into a nursery is the difference between a plant still blooming in October and one already sitting on the discount rack by July. That's the entire reason this channel exists. So if you want the correct name for every plant before you're standing confused in a nursery aisle next spring, subscribe right now, because the plants that build the actual bones of a permanent garden are still ahead. Salvia caradonna May night salvia is the industry default, and it flattens sideways the first time a summer thunderstorm rolls through. Caradonna carries a dark, almost black stem sturdy enough to stay standing through that exact same storm. Deep violet spires bloom from late May through July, pulling in bumblebees and hummingbird moths the entire time. Cut it back hard once the first flush fades, and you'll get a second. Lighter bloom in September, right when the rest of the bed's gone quiet. At the nursery, check the stem before the flower. Dark and near black, that's caradonna. Plain green, keep walking. Real talk for the comments. How many of you already bought May Night or Stella d'Oro this year without knowing a better version was sitting one bench over for the exact same price? Name the plant below. I want to see how many of us paid full price for the wrong version of the right plant. Catmint Walker's Low. 5 straight months of lavender blue bloom, late May through September. Longer than almost anything else on this list. It pulls in every native bee in the neighborhood, keeps deer and rabbits out, and spreads by the clump, getting bigger, not by underground runners, so it stays exactly where you put it. A single pot becomes a 2-foot cloud by fall, 4 feet by year 3. Want zero self-seeding at all? Ask for the sterile version, Junior Walker. Sedum Matrona. For 30 years, the default answer here was Autumn Joy, and Autumn Joy splits open into a hollow, woody ring, almost like clockwork by year 5. Matrona has sturdier, purple-tinged stems that hold their shape for 15 years and counting. Here's the part almost nobody gets right. This plant wants lean, dry soil and barely any water. It evolved on rocky, sun-blasted slopes, not in a rich, watered bed. Give it the good soil and it goes floppy and weak in the middle. And most gardeners blame the plant instead of the conditions. Check the stem before you buy. True purple tint, that's Matrona. Gaillardia aristata, the true species, not the hybrid. Most garden centers sell the hybrid blanket flower under a name like Arizona Sun. It puts on a spectacular first-year show, then rots at the crown that winter in anything but bone-dry soil. 2 years is a generous lifespan for most of them. The straight species, Gaillardia aristata, blooms red and gold June through September and shrugs off poor, sandy soil that would kill the hybrid outright. Full sun, non-negotiable, and lean soil beats rich soil every time here. Check the tag for the word aristata. If it just says Gaillardia with a pretty color promise and nothing else, that's the short-lived one, and you'll be replacing it by year 3. Black-eyed Susan American Gold Rush Goldsturm is what every big box store stocks by the truckload, and it comes down with leaf spot almost every single year. Brown blotches, dropped leaves, a plant that keeps blooming while looking sick from the ground up. American Gold Rush was bred specifically to resist that disease. The foliage stays clean June through October, with smaller, more numerous flowers that make the whole clump look denser and fuller. By year 3, it's a dense fountain of gold the whole street stops to ask about. Pair it behind a low ornamental grass like little bluestem, and you've built a border that looks like it cost a landscaper $1,000 for the price of 2 plants. If you've replaced Goldsturm more than once because the leaves kept turning brown and ugly by late summer, that was never your watering. That was a disease-prone cultivar handed to you as the default, over and over, while the resistant version sat one bench away with a less familiar name on the tag. That's exactly the kind of wasted season and wasted money this channel exists to stop. Subscribe now, because the single biggest lesson on this entire list is next. Echinacea purpurea, the species, not the fancy hybrids. This is the most important plant on the whole list, so listen closely. The flashy hybrid coneflowers, the oranges, the reds, tomato soup, hot papaya, anything that looks like a magazine cover, don't survive past 3 winters in most American gardens. Independent trials at a respected plant research center documented it directly. Most of those showpiece coneflowers get quietly replaced every other year, and the gardener never realizes the plant was never built to last in the first place. The plain pink-purple species, Echinacea purpurea, lives 20 years and beyond in the exact same spot. It attracts every pollinator the fancy hybrids were ever marketed for. Self-seeds gently to fill in the gaps on its own, and goldfinches strip the seed heads clean all winter. Pay around $9 for the plain species. Skip the $18 hybrid display by the entrance. The cheap one is the one actually doing the job. Geranium roseanne. Named the top perennial in the country back in 2008 by a national plant trial organization, and it's held that title every year since. Roseanne blooms periwinkle blue from May clear through October, 5 straight months, no deadheading, and it never slows down late in the season. It sprawls low and weaves gently between taller plants behind it without flopping or taking over anything. Full sun to part shade, any soil that drains, water it the first summer, then it performs on its own for the next 15 years. Chain stores carry it inconsistently. Specialty nurseries have it more reliably, and it's worth every extra dollar. This is arguably the most recommended hardy perennial in America that most gardeners have simply never heard of. Amsonia hubrichtii, Arkansas Blue Star. Almost nobody asks for this by name, and almost no chain garden center stocks it, which makes it the single best-kept secret on this entire list. Soft, sky blue star-shaped flowers cover the whole mound in late spring. Through summer, the fine, thread-like foliage stays clean and bright green. Then in October, the entire plant turns a clear, bright gold you can spot from across the yard. 2 completely different seasons of drama from one plant. Native to the Ozark region, it needs 0 supplemental water after year 1, and deer will not touch it. Full sun to part shade, any soil, holding its size for 2 decades without ever needing to be divided. Real question, and I want your honest take in the comments. Should garden centers be required to stock the version that actually survives, instead of the one that fails in 3 years? Or is it on us as gardeners to already know the name before we walk in? Tell me where you land. I've heard strong opinions on both sides of this one. Garden phlox, Jana older, Unnamed garden phlox comes down with powdery mildew by midsummer. Gray, crusted leaves dropping while the plant is still trying to bloom. Jana carries the strongest mildew resistance ever recorded in independent phlox trials. The foliage stays clean June through October, and the flower clusters run smaller and more numerous than older varieties, which means more butterflies and hummingbirds working the plant per square foot than anything else on this list. Full sun, average soil, water the first season, and it returns wider and fuller every year for at least 15 years. No dividing required. Check the leaves before the flower color. Clean, dark green with no dusty gray film. That's Jana. 2 plants left, and both of them are about as close to permanent as anything will ever get in your yard. Baptisia false blue indigo. Named a top perennial in the country back in 2010, and it lives in the exact same spot for 25 years without any real care once it's established. This is a native prairie plant, and its taproot reaches 8 to 10 feet deep within a few years, which is exactly why drought, heat waves, deer, insects, and disease barely touch it once it's settled in. The blue flower spires that open in late May look almost like lupine, except lupine dies out in most American climates within 2 or 3 years, while baptisia just keeps going for decades. After bloom, the flower stalks turn into black seed pods that rattle in the fall wind, and goldfinches strip them clean all winter. 2 things matter here. First, it takes about 3 years to fully settle in. Small the first summer, bigger the second, a full shrub by the third. Second, once it's planted, do not try to move it. That taproot is essentially unmovable after year 2, so choose the spot carefully the first time, because baptisia is not getting relocated later. The peony planted at the correct depth. A peony lives past 100 years in the exact same spot. No dividing, no replanting, no fertilizing needed past year 3. It simply performs every May and June for a century straight, outliving the gardener who planted it, the house it was planted beside, and often the memory of who put it in the ground to begin with. Full sun, soil that drains well, and pay close attention to depth, because depth is the one detail that decides whether this plant blooms at all. The growing eye. The pink budded tip at the top of the root needs to sit no more than 2 inches below the soil surface. Plant it deeper, and you'll get healthy green foliage every year and 0 flowers, ever. A quiet mistake that's frustrated experienced gardeners for years without them ever knowing why. Get the depth right once, and you've planted something that will still be blooming when nobody currently alive is around to remember who put it there. 13 down to 1, one more time. Hosta sum and substance. Daylily happy returns, salvia caridana, catmint walker's low, sedum matrona, Gaillardia aristata, black-eyed Susan American gold rush, echinacea purpurea, geranium roseanne, Amsonia hubrichtii, garden phlox, Jana, baptisia, the peony. Plant these once, in the right spot, and your garden stops being a yearly replacement project. It starts building itself. If somebody in your life has been buying the same dead perennial at the garden center every spring for years, send them this. It might be the one thing that finally ends that cycle for them. Drop a comment and tell me what USDA growing zone you're in. I read every single one, and the zones you list are exactly what decide which plants show up in the next video, built specifically for what actually survives where you live.